Alright, so we're going to take a look at some action examples for the paragraph object. First thing we're going to do is set up an action to load a text file into our paragraph object here at runtime. So I'm going to double click on my page, and in the Actions panel on the OnShow event, I'm going to click on the Add Action button here, and I'm going to select the paragraph set text action. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and double click on that, and from the text line here I'm going to click on this little ellipsis at the end here, and in the Edit Text panel I'm going to go ahead and select a text file by clicking on the little folder icon and choosing a sample text file, which I've prepared here, and it's on our desktop. Here you can see it's loaded the text into our Edit Text screen. We can check the spelling, for example, so the spelling's fine, and we can also print or save it from here, but in this case we're just going to press OK, and then we're going to press Finish. Okay, so basically when the page shows itself, it's going to set the text of our paragraph object to be that text. Okay, so let's press OK. And then we're going to set some actions here actually on our paragraph object. Now in this particular case, the actions that are of particular interest are the scroll position related actions. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on my paragraph object, and in the Actions panel, in the On-Click tab, select Add Action. And I'm going to take from the paragraph category, so we're going to choose paragraph and choose a category here. I'm going to choose the Get Scroll Range action. Okay, and then we're going to explain this first. Okay, so I'm going to double click on that. We're going to make sure that we've got the paragraph 1 object name selected, and we've got the vertical set to true because we're trying to track the vertical scrolling. If you were tracking horizontal scrolling, you would set this to false. And we'll go ahead and leave this variable name here of result. I'm going to copy it into my clipboard and press Finish. Okay, so basically we've got the scroll range of our paragraph object, and it's a table, so we can reference the values in this table, which are minimum and maximum, and these relate to the lines of text inside the paragraph object. For example, if the scroll range is 20, that means there's 20 lines of text in our paragraph object. So let's go ahead and set up a dialog box here to report our minimum and maximum values. So I'm going to just go ahead and type this in manually. And as you can see here, I'm referencing our values, as I said, by using the minimum and maximum, so min and max references here. Okay, so our result is a table that contains these two values for the minimum and maximum. Okay, so I'm going to press OK. Then I'm going to preview our project by pressing F5. And remember, we put the action in the On-Click event. You can see the text has been swapped here at runtime. The action installed that text using the paragraph set text action that we put on our page. I'm going to go ahead and click that, and that's going to activate this secondary action. As you see here, it says 0 and 71. So that means there's 71 lines of text in here. And we can set this scroll bar dynamically at runtime to go at any point between those 71 lines. Okay, so this relates to which line is here at the top of the screen. For example, if I go back here and I set some numbers in here, so I'm going to actually go into the settings area here where the text is and put in some numbers. Okay, so it's very simple way to reference what we're doing, and I'll just go ahead and put in 20 lines. Okay, then I'll press OK, and I'm going to erase that action that's on our page so that it doesn't load the text from our text file. We already used that, so we know how to set the text in a paragraph object by loading a text file in. Okay, and let's go ahead and run this. Now we've got 20 lines in there. We know because we put them in, and when we click on it, you'll see it says 20. 0 and 20. So the minimum scroll range is 0 and the maximum scroll range is 20. So I'm going to press OK and shut down this application. Now, suppose we wanted to set this. I'm going to shrink down our paragraph object actually for this. Suppose we wanted to set it so that the number 5 was the line on top here. In that case, we're going to double click it. We would have to put an action on here, and I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these actions that are on here and click on the Add Action button, and we will choose the paragraph set scroll position action. Okay, so we've got a pair of actions here for getting the scroll position And again, that references the line number that's at the top of the paragraph object and the set scroll position, so we can set that position. I'm going to double click on that action, and we're going to set the scroll position here to 4. I'm going to make sure that it's set to my object name and that vertical is true because we're tracking vertical scrolling. I'm going to press finish, I'm going to press OK, and then I'm going to go ahead and run our project. Now when we click on the object, you'll see 5 as the top in the line. And that's because it's a 0 number referencing. So for example, to get the number 5 at the top, you would put in 4. To get the number 4, you would put in 3, and so forth. So you'll notice it does just what we wanted. When we click on that object, the number 5 is the top line on the screen. Now, what relevance is this to your projects and presentations? Well, basically, you can create any type of text content now and put it into a paragraph object and then reference those by using buttons, sort of like paragraphs. Okay? So let's go ahead and create one more example here. I'm going to double click on our paragraph object. I'm going to erase that action. And in the Settings tab, I'm going to load in our text file again, our sample text file, and press OK. Now I've got a bunch of text in here I can work with. Okay, so let's go ahead and expand this a bit. There we go. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and create a label object here. I'm just going to type in click, and then in the Actions tab, on the on-click area here, I'm going to go ahead and add an action. Now in this particular case, I'm going to move that scroll bar to 0. So this will be our first button, and it'll just return the scroll bar to the top. So we'll go ahead to add action, paragraph, set scroll position. I'll double click that, and I'll just keep the default values here because they're correct. We've got the right object, scroll position we want to be zeroed, and vertical is true. So we'll press finish and press OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and move this down here and duplicate this object by pressing Control D, and I'm going to make 2 copies of it. This second copy I'm going to double click on, and in the Actions tab I'm going to go ahead and change this 0 here. I'm just going to change it to be, let's say, a 5, okay? And that's going to set it so that the line, the 6th line, is going to be at the top of that paragraph object. So I'm going to press OK. I'm going to go on the 3rd object here, and I'm going to, again, go into the action here and change that 0. This time I'll set it to be, how about 12? I'll press OK. Then I'm just going to grab these objects and align them for neatness sakes and move them over, okay? And we'll go ahead and press F5 to preview this project. Now when I click on these little objects, keep your eye on the paragraph scroll bar. You see how it's moving to the position that we set it to? So by using this particular technique, you could basically create label objects, and I'm going to go ahead and just change the text in here. You can create label objects that basically reference portions of your text as chapters. Okay, I'll just do this final one here. And I'm just doing this to illustrate the point here. Okay, so again I'm just going to go ahead and grab these, and I'm going to distribute and align them for neatness. And then we'll press F5 to preview our project. And you can see basically it's mock functionality here, but it works. Chapter 1, it goes back to the top. Chapter 2, a little further down to this paragraph. Chapter 3, down to this paragraph. So that's set scroll position, and get scroll position basically is the counterpart of this action, which just returns a number that tells you where the scroll position is at, and that references this top line here, which line that is within your text. Okay, so that's the actions that go with the paragraph object. And I hope you're all comfortable using these now. We'll go ahead to the next lesson.